poetic irony of it all on this sacred day we call Mary J. The day of Mary J. Mary Jane, helping us along the way. Just like, wow, one more time to live, and here we come back as a mule skinner, baby. More likely the water boy, because that way you don't have to boss around the mules, but you can still be close to them, baby. Because you understand those animals, and they understand you. Though both may be a little stubborn, it's kind of a reflective thing, wouldn't you say? Wow. I'm telling you, we're getting this magic day underway. Ooh, in a really poetic, sweethearted sort of way, wouldn't you say? See, that little moment there takes me back to a memory I got to share. But you're going to have to wait a moment, because there's somebody out there that I got to go see and let in. So, baby, I'll be right back, he says with a grin. Grandpa Coyote, helping you get to trucking on this sacred day of Mary J, man. Getting you in the glow, don't you know? On the Hazy Radio Network on a fun, celebratory, but sacred as all get out day. The day of Mary Jane. And here's to you, baby, is another toke to help you through. From Pope Mary Jane herself inside of himself, who represents herself through this sacred smoke, and enjoy the buzz, cause this is going to be a high. Ooh, we're ready to take off the flag, expand right into it now, in the and how moment of right now. You know, it said some stories best not be told, you know. So there's some stories you kind of hold inside of yourself. Some of the stuff you've lived in this dramatic reality we call 3D, as you learn to navigate and negotiate it mystically and started to come back to your heart. And those change days, well, they've always been changing ever since. In fact, since the day you hit the sheath, of course. But there are significant moments in your life where things turn around, and sweet Mary Jane comes into play in a very dramatic and powerful way. Yeah. She's always there to help you along, man. She always has been for me. And, you know, if you'll look back through your history and, you know, discover the real unraveling of the mystery, you'll see that there's always been a Mary Jane there. Always. She may not always be known by that name, but the sacred herb to go with her, too. There's always been that divine practice of the divine feminine held in the heart of those that were here to share the divine love of the universe and remind the children of the universe to get on with it and get out of it and let's go, etc. You know, in other words, those that were here to change and share the real life energy of truth, you know, always. In most cases, sometimes there was a little substitution because she wasn't accessible everywhere, but pretty much always, they were always practitioners in the sacred Mary J. And in other sacred herbs too, you know, a little mushroom here and there, you know, maybe a little peyote as we call it now, a little cactus flower. Nothing that blossoms more beautifully than a cactus flower, wouldn't you say? And see, that's what I think we got blossoming here today, man. One of them bright, vibrant purple, yellow, gold, green, blue, exotic, just... what do you call that? You know, wow, just as brand as beautiful as can be and just glowing like the sun in its colorful self. The cactus flower, man, blossoming forward from inside of our heart. Just like it does in some days when you got some other stuff underway. See, there's a path, a journey, a trail that leads each person to the moment of now on this sacred day of Mary J. It's in somewhere along the way. I remember a day when, I'd been, down for a while, man. You know, it was like, some gnarly stuff was catching up to me. It was time to deal with it. So in the physical 3D reality, you know. So I was quite challenged in a health sense, but I lived in paradise, you know. And this was keeping me alive and then some, you know, despite a rather weakened condition. And came a day, you know, I was feeling a little better. But still really, I mean, I was like a scarecrow, skin and bones, man, pale skin too, yuck. Quite a sight, I'll tell you. But still my characteristic self, I just needed to rest a lot. I couldn't hang around too long in the working reality, so I had friends come along and help me out, and that was beautiful. That's the way we worked there. Even though we were spread by great distances there, a very remote area, in these mountains in Oregon, you know. But they were like a family there, and they came to help me, and I came to help them. Well, along with them there, of course, came the angel of hell. Because what else you can do? You live in paradise, you got to have a little hell to go with it, right? You know. So Lucy sends her male representative, and as time goes on, her female representative too. Their pair are united, of course. And turns out they're united against you, you know, because they really don't like your presence in this reality, and they'd just soon you be dead and gone, and, you know, released from this with great terminality. And they'd heard of the illness and so forth, you know. Well, there's probably a deeper story to that, but that gets a little too dark, so who cares, man, you know. So here's this dude, you know, and I'm letting him stay there because he's helping me out, but he's also crazier than a loon, man, I'll tell you. Whew, violent son of a gun. I knew it right from the beginning, but I let him in anyway because there's a brotherhood between us, and I had to see it through. And often you do things you wouldn't do otherwise just because of that, because of the greater sense of what's in your heart, you know, where normally you wouldn't even hang out with such a sort because, you know, there's danger there, and you don't need to be the target of it, you know. And you know inevitably that happens, you know. People that are a little psychotic like that, as we call it in this reality. See, I see beyond all those definitions. I see the real person there. I saw a reflection of my divine presence, more or less. I didn't see it that way then, but that's what it was. A cosmic brother, man, from way back, you know. And of course, a physical representation of it in this reality, but that was the energy of it. The reflective twin, you know. And so that's what I'd drawn in there, man. It was living in the teepee back in a little meadow behind my house a ways there, you know. But things got a little rough there, you know. And so this dude came with kind of a peace offering and says, hey, I got to go over and help a friend move over in northern Cal there over on the Klamath. He says, you want to take a ride with us today? And my old lady looked at me, and she gave me this look like, we're going. Because she was like getting, you know, cabin fever really bad. Probably about... No, it was towards summer, but anyway, she had cabin fever really bad. It's time to go, you know. So I couldn't say no, even though I knew this trip would probably be miserable, because, well, we'll describe it to you a little bit, just give you a feel of it, you know. So we got to get there. We live out in this very remote area. We got to get there by going up a bumpy old gravel road, up over a mountain pass, and down the other side, and finally down some little narrow paved roads along the Klamath River there. Gorgeous country, just out of sight. I mean, this is paradise, babies, everywhere you look, you know. And down there along the Klamath drainage somewhere was his buddy's place where he'd been mining this mining claim. He's 83, so he'd been mining it for about 40-something years, you know. He was time to retire and go to the rest home in New Jersey. I couldn't imagine how he could stand it. I knew it'd kill him. But anywho, that was the mission. And the mercy was getting us out of the house and getting us out traveling a little bit because we'd been ranch bound for a while because of my condition and so forth, you know. Well, turned out this, you know, make a longer story short, turned out this was the day I was ready to give it up. Well, I didn't know that. I could kind of sense that, but the trip over that mountain was sheer hell, man. You wouldn't believe it. These two, this Lucifer and Lucy in motion, let's call them, just for funny's sakes. Because that's just the Luciferian energy, kind of, you know. I mean, it gets in people, you know. It's really, really mischievous. It can be really awful evil if you respond to it inappropriately. Ooh, it was difficult to hold a space in that tiny little pickup truck of his as we bumped our asses over that mountain pass. And he kept trying to scare us by looking like he was going to veer off the road and fall down these big cliffs up there and stuff. Just any kind of mischievous hell they could raise to try and make me and the old lady a nervous wreck. Those two were up to it. Just amazing. Yeah, this, you know, it was like psychologically designed torture, and that's how I got through it, because I saw that element of it. They were just playing a game on us, you know, with this bullshit of violence and all that. So we just wrote it out. But, you know, man, I got to tell you, it wears you down, you know. At least when you're in a weakened state like I was then, you know. And I'd had this struggle inside going on forever. I'd been polluted with all kinds of radiation and strange chemicals when I was younger. And I guess this was the final effect of all of that, catching up to me on many levels, you know. Well, it was time for a shift anyway, you know. You're going to live in paradise, you got to learn to be paradise so you can enjoy it and not have to fight with it all the time. So that's kind of essentially what was happening there. But I was drawn there to this magic little place there on the Klamath drainage where the universe could open up, and everything could happen just right, and things would fall into place, boom, 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 and I'd get well, and not only that, I'd start to learn and grow in a more mystical way than I ever had before. I'd become an expansive heart with the energies that I could share with others, etc. Just wow, an amazing time. But as I laid there on this little lawn, I was ready to give up the ghost, man. I was exhausted. I was done. I was el hysterio, done, over with, and tired. I mean, that's what happens when you really come to that death moment. Your soul is tired. It says, man, I've had about enough of this. I want to go get loved. And so that's how I was kind of feeling. My kids were kind of in a growed up stage, but my old lady was still pretty reliant on me. So I was like, wow. That was the hardest part of it, but I knew I just couldn't go on anymore. I knew I was done, At least that's the psychological side of it. I think I was only fooling myself so I could open up enough to get myself back, to start the recovery I needed to go through, As boy, I had been fractured in this reality. As much as enjoyment as I'd been able to squeeze out of it, mostly because Mary Jane helped me mellow out and be a good guy, like she always does. I mean, there's nothing like hanging out with Mary Jane to make you feel right about yourself, no matter what conflict might be going on in your life at the same time. It's like it's not even there. And that's kind of how I was feeling this day as I was laying on that lawn. I haven't gone through all that conflict, and I could feel this brother off in the distance, not too far, putting a little chin out to make sure that I went down and didn't come back around, because he was tired of my presence in this reality and was eyeing up my old lady too, baby. Well, that's another reason I probably shouldn't have been checking out. Somebody had to protect her from this satanic soul, for heck's sakes. He was really up to any kind of mischief he could get into, man. But particularly, he'd always directed his energy towards me dying. That's what he wanted to see happen. And so he was there to kind of aggravate it into being if it didn't want to do it by itself. And me being the tough old critter that I am, it takes a lot to get me to that moment, I just build out of some kind of durable thing, man. So I just, hang on, Well, that moment there, I was done. Well, I thought. And I laid there in the sun. Of course, I'd had a few righteous tokes of Mary Jane. It's the only way you can get through such things, That's the common thing we all shared. All of us enjoyed the Mary J. Including the old 83-year-old miner, man. We sat at that table, had a divine breakfast before this moment came, and shared the sacred Mary J all the way around. Then got his little movement underway. He had a lot of stuff, boy, I tell you. I couldn't help much, and that's what knocked me out, as I tried to help. And then I just went down, man, I knew it was over, like I didn't have another ounce of energy in me. I'd have to make some kind of deal with the angels to get a protector for my old lady really quick, And I would, too, but oh my God, I was done. Yet I laid there in the sun, and all softened up by the herb of Mary J. And something new got underway, man. I mean, the sky opened up. The sun was over there, and I was right here, but directly above me was another sun, or it looked like it. It just opened up in the sky, only it was huge, it was all around me. And there's all this, the blue center, like the sun is, and then the golden rays of light in me and all around me, a big old circle, And there's these radiant beings up there at the top of that circle, and I can see the glow of their outline, as they man the circle. I think they came up one at a time, but they're like maybe 14 of them there, I think. I think that's the magic number, but whatever it was, I didn't count. I wasn't in that kind of mood. That's what I felt there. But I felt my presence there, too, like this was a group that I'm a part of, It's a gateway. It's the sun. I kind of understood that, even though the sun was over there in the sky. I kind of understood I was seeing through the illusion, the veils, And these beings were smiling down on me. And I felt that ever-present love, the stuff I call Mary Jane's now, the love of Mary Jane, because that's a metaphor, of course. But there was all of this love, just coming down with that gold light. It was like I was in a steady, constant field of love. I was embraced by love, and no matter what happened, I was loved, and my life would go on. I would be in this love forever. And wow. And then there was some communication between us, back and forth, a little verbiage. And they kind of tricked me into sticking around, though I knew I wanted to. I just didn't think I had the means to. But somehow it was found, and there I was on the ground getting back up again after a while. I mean, I had to let that one soak in. That moment created this moment. You see, and that same moment is still here now on this day of the sacred Mary J. See, those kind of moments live forever. They're beyond time. And so it wasn't really a death thing at all. It's an experience in the awakening to the divine presence. You know, a dissolving away of illusion by seeing the reality and knowing how loved and loving you really are. It kind of neutralizes all the toxic effects in your life in that moment, because you realize how pure it really is. That it's just life flowing through you. And yeah, there's a lot of static and interference and so forth here in the 3D. But when you're reconnected in moments like this, when you remember then and rise up and see that we are those same 14 beings around that little circle of love there in the skies of the life, you know, what we call California. What an awesome, awesome moment that lives here now inside of us, even here in the Rocky Mountain High. See, that's the gift of Mary J, an awakening to help you along the way in rather a nice sort of way. You see, you start to remember that presence there in the air above you, or however you perceive of it. Because it is multidimensional, of course. You're seeing through the veils of illusion. You're ending the divine separation, the age of separation. Now we get on with regeneration. See, because in that moment, in this moment, it's a united moment. It's the beginning. It's when we understand what we've been doing here, why we've been doing it, and what we do now. United with our tribe. See, because that circle there is ever expansive and includes all beings and presences that ever lived and are living still. Because life goes on, death is the illusion. And there's the shattering of that illusion in that one moment, because it never leaves you. It stays with you. And you are there forevermore in that moment of union, where there is no division. There's a united planetary reality, a united universal reality, far larger than the one we seem to be in now. You know, it's changing, babies, but far more compact, too. See, because time, space, distance do not exist in such places. It's one big, huge, shining star, ever expanding from inside of our love and self, as a part of the greater part of that creation, gathered with our real tribal family, those glittering beings in the atmosphere that help you see it oh so clear as you're living here now. Draw near. See, the gateway you've opened there now, as you unify with your presence there, without leaving here, you kind of join the worlds. You see, there's not even that distance between you, the sky and the earth. It's united. So the dimensions kind of dissolve away into a conscious presence of that love in motion. Dear sweet love, sacredly held for a long, long time in the herb we've jokingly called Mary Jane, marijuana, cannabis. Sometimes even the hemp can carry that energy because it's a cousin to it. But it's all pretty much the same thing. It's held that energy so that it was never lost. Because people knew we were going to go far away from ourselves on a long journey through hell that would bring us back to paradise. So now's that moment, because that moment exists forever. If it's then, it's now. If it's now, it's everywhere. This is the moment. This is where we do it. And that's how, baby, just glow ourselves into it. Appreciate. I'm telling you, moments like that, even though you may be living a challenging life, you love it in a way that will never let it escape you. You will be alive forever. Yeah, of course, you transform the soft, sweet height in the process, but you will live. You will feel this life and be this life in some form of fleshly presence forevermore. Because the organic and the ethereal, that which seemed beyond us, united in a single moment of celebratory love. The sun and the earth are one, and the age of the blue star has begun. Ha! Here's to you, babies. Clink all the way around. And a salute to your poetic little heart that knows how to live as a presence in a living work of art, and as that living work of art in that presence. Grandpa Coyote, stand us in the flow, man. You betcha. Stand us there forevermore on the Hazy Radio Network with the Coyote Medicine Show. Radio Network, baby. The rockin'est network you ever found since Pope Mary Jane's hanging around here early in the day, helping us celebrate that lovely sacred day. Happy 420, everyone. I hope you're having fun. So are we here on the Hazy Radio Network, baby. Your ticket to flight in the great daylight. My little assistant, Obi-Wan Kenobi, behind me here, reminding you, everybody, hold your heart dear. Keep it near. Be the love that you are. Remember the dog and its steady, earnest, loyal love, man. Remember the life that you're living. In the same way, it's a life that you're given to be, baby. Coming to stay. Right now, in this place, this time, this moment of now, in the and how, because we're love in motion. And we live as the ocean of love in motion. We give it fluid flexibility, movement, motion, emotion, feeling, passion, power, in the innocent love that divinely appreciates it all, and feels it all, and accepts it all right now. In this moment of time, the feeling of every bit of it. Can never get rid of it, babies. It's there. You may as well embrace it. Yeah. Now's the time. This is the place. Happy 420, everyone. And wipe that smile off your face. I want to see a big grin. Oh, Grandpa, rattling your chain once again as we toke down on the sacred Mary J. in celebration of the universal heart. In motion each and every day in all moments that we live. Oh, man, if that ain't love, I don't know what is, babies. It's love you can feel. Love you can feel as real as you want to feel it to be. See, the only restriction is none at all. We have thoughts that get in the way sometimes, but that's just a way of processing it out of ourselves. Give it up, let it go. Realize you're already got a truck with going downhill with no brakes, and your fate is in the hands of angels, baby. No matter what. And you don't have to feel it in a threatening sort of way, because you know today, in this moment of joining of all moments, that they'll always be there to play. They're always there to work us through. Always. They never let us down. Well, sometimes it might seem so, but they're always there holding the ground for you, man, if nothing else. But keeping you upright when others would have gone over, etc. Keeping you from driving in front of that train. Keeping your wagon from falling off the cliff. Keeping you from getting bucked off when a bee stings your horse, etc. I mean, there's so many ways to go. And the odds are so loaded against you that the fact that you take another breath is awesome. And very empowered by the angelic love, which is embodied in the energy, and we acknowledge that today, of the sacred Mary J. Mary Jane represents the divine feminine, the awareness of the mother love in all of us. This softens up the male presence to the point where you would hardly recognize it. Yet it can still be male, and quite joyfully so. I mean, take the ideas of, forcefulness right out of it, and you see a happy young person alive inside that sweet hide. You knew it was there. You tried and tried, but it wouldn't come out, would it? Now it does. See, all that time. more than worth the effort. It's just like going downhill in a truck with no brakes, man. You know, sometimes you get into those situations, you just deal with it. But you know, the angels are there. And you may not always make the best of it, but you do. The angels are there getting you through no matter what else it is you do. That's the magic of the motion of life. It's always in motion. It's always augmented and increasingly synchronized by the empowerment of your heart in the angelic realm. That which seems invisible to most folks, but on this day, this 4/20 of 2016, I think many of them will be seen and many of them will be known. Perhaps even Mary Jane in your sunrise today. If not today, tomorrow, because that's the arrival of the full moon in that evening presence, I think. Maybe it's 22, I don't remember exactly. But the full moon is upon us. And what is that? A time of ripening, of the deepest romance there ever could be. The ripening of the romance between the mother and ye, which we jokingly refer to as Mary Jane, which is a reality. And just a metaphorical joke in a way, because that sacred herb does indeed contain that sacred life. And this is what softens you up and helps you get going. Doesn't just get you high. It helps you expand and get growing into the experience of love that you are, fully present in it and unafraid to feel anything. Light, dark, everything in between, it all merges in the rooted love of your life, in the centered heart of the great heart inside of you, the great heart, which creates all, replicated in all things too, the great heart. That's what Mary Jane represents in this April 22, babies. So thank you to all that invented that code. Hey, don't know. That came up before you were even known or born. Man, I mean, that's 420 has been her symbol for a long time. But it's just a little magic. It doesn't mean anything, really. It's just a great day to be alive. And let's just call it her birthday, because this is when we find our birth with her. And the pleasure of living comes back to life inside of each one of us. And we can actually now find some enjoyment in our reality. True enjoyment. You know, because we get a little more content within ourselves. We let go of any restless anxiousness because it just melts away in the softness of our glowing heart today. Because we had a little toke and shared some smoke of smoking prayer. This heart for humanity, of humanity, is for humanity, of course. Has cried for its freedom since long ago. And now ripens into the medicine of the life that it long since prepared for itself in the beginning of the divine time of love. In living motion as the ocean of love that we are. Ooh, 420 and Mama Love. Mary Jane represents that aplenty, man. You feel her flow inside of you. You understand now what a feminine being is. The nurturing love. The very energy of life itself passed through the sunlight, which is the directness of the male. So the female and the male are a divine presence in the feminine, once again, and never will be parted. It's a unity such as we have not experienced before. It comes with the sunrise. I call it the sunrise surprise of April 20, 2016. So hang on to your britches, kids. It's getting wild, but it's beautiful. And it's time that we latched our heart onto our own divine dream and allowed it to come into being. We've held back from ourselves for long enough, waiting for others to catch up. Hell, we invented all kinds of excuses, and that was total bullshit. Nobody had to catch up. Nobody had to get on. Everybody just gets into it at the same time, baby. Because if one person gets it, everybody gets it. You know, it just happens that way. It filters out through the subsequent people around them, into the reality around them. See, such is the creative nature of our collective heart that I call the mother love. The one you're feeling right now. See, this will soften your male presence greatly. You've hated the torment you had to live in. You've hated the ruggedness you've had to adopt in the killing nature, too, and your time of service on the killing fields. Well, enough is enough now, isn't it? See, by your love, by allowing yourself to be alive this way, you're reincarnating any life you've ever taken, and then some. You fulfilled it in their presence. You took on their burden, and you fulfilled it. That's how it works here, baby, see? we're unburdening everybody then, and we're stopping the killing fields in their tracks. Because we got the love attacks going on here in that Coyote way, on that Coyote Medicine Show, on this very, very Coyote day of April 4/20 of 2016. Now, man, ain't that keen, ain't that life, ain't that living right? Well, it's living high for sure. And getting it on the road again, you betcha, and across the sky too. In fact, you just won't believe what we're up to, man, but watch for it today, man. The angels are on their way, and baby, no matter how wild it gets here, because it's getting wilder in the 3D all the time, just remember they're here with us. And if we feel like we're on a runaway train with no brakes, baby, remember the angels. They'll keep us on the track, man, and bring us right in just slick as a whistle. And it's just a thrilling aspect of the ride, baby. So don't you worry yourself, little hide, about anything. Just embrace this love bubbling up through you like a spring. And feel the full presence of your heart in your chest once again. I mean the entirety of it. That's a divine feminine. It's not an isolated heart on one side or the other. It fills your whole chest. It's huge. And it radiates rainbow love from the direct sunlight. It radiates the rainbow love of creation into being. And there's that brotherhood, as we call it. Let's use a more neutral term, but brotherhood is it. There's sisters in it too, of course. But we're not exactly genderized there. We're all in it together. We're all alive in the grand sunlight. The gatekeepers of love have delivered once again. The payoff is now. We've carried it with us for quite a while. Ripen it up. You betcha, baby. We do what we gotta do. We serve how we gotta serve. We're good little divine waiters, waitresses, chefs, and all the other stuff that goes with it. Even busboys and dishwashers, man. We love them too because we're all part of that. We're all doing that, you know. But I think in a divine way our presence is going to change today because of 420 and of our getting it underway. And here's a clink to that all the way around. Mary Jane, the veritable gateway of paradise. Yes. That's the gateway we're seeing, and the brotherhood of love surrounding it as the guardian protectors of love, the keepers of the life, the dream, and the fulfillment of the dream, all wrapped up into one. And there you are, radiating that life into being, that very life of that grand brotherhood of the heart. See, you're an enlightened being yourself, an enlightened presence in the reality of truth. That's where we are, dear. That's our surrendering to the ultimate call of love in each and every one. Arise now, my children, and have some fun. Brothers and sisters, all as one. Grandchildren now. And how? So says Grandpa once again, sharing the wealth of love from 9,000 feet high in the Rocky Mountain sky. Yes, indeed. This is where your heart does indeed learn, remember, and grow into that flight. Yes, indeed. And with all of this earth, in that flight does it unite. The phoenix bird arrives on 420. And that's a plenty, babies. On the Hazy Radio Network. Oh, more to go in this Coyote Medicine Show. Stay tuned in, don't you know. Ooh, we're rocking with the flow. It's been you.